Hello everyone, my name is Boulevard. The 2022 Legends of Runeterra World Championship is just a few short weeks away, and today we got our updated list of qualified members. So I wanted to take a little bit of time and go through with you what the World Championship means, how we're going to be playing it, all these different kinds of details that were finalized today. So first of all, just want to remind everyone of the format that we're going to be playing in for the actual event. The first one, and this is a big change from last year, is that the regional qualifiers will only take place over one day, not two. Just a couple of Saturdays away from now in about mid-November. All 7 rounds going to be played on one day, and while Riot will not be broadcasting the regional qualifiers, I will, and I'm still working out the details of that in the background, so expect an update hopefully next week on exactly what that's going to look like, where you can watch all the action and things like that, but I'm just not ready to share the details right now. There's still a few things that aren't finalized, so once I have a better idea, I'll try to be as transparent with you guys as I can and keep you updated. Now, we're still running back the same sort of qualifiers from last year, in that we will have 6 players from the Americas and then 5 from EMEA and 5 from APAC. Last year, Asia and Southeast Asia were separate shards, with Asia only being South Korea and Japan. This year, but they still played the same qualifiers. Like, Southeast Asia and Asia came together to make their 128-player qualifier. So now, with it being the APAC shard, still the same thing, basically. And yeah, you know, America still just gets one more spot, I guess, because we just have more players than everybody else. It's going to be a double elim, and then, you know, right after the last Darken expansion releases, we will have the top 16 playoff. But, you know, I still consider the regional qualifiers still a part of the World Championship. Now, as far as the players that have been qualified, I just want to give you an update on last year's top 16 and who from that elite group has re-qualified, because not all of them made it back. Only 10 of the 16 did. On the America side, Majin Bay, XX What Am I XX, and Shaylu, so only half of the America's competitors from last year, have made it back to this year's World Championship. On the European side of things, EMEA, we have Shihu, Byattack, and Ragnarsik returning, which means that the previous World Champion, Alan ZQ, will not be here to defend his title, even through the regional qualifier stage. And then APAC actually kind of blew us all out of the water, with Artify, Pinpingho, Yamato, and Odyssey all reprising their roles in the World Championship. And yeah, you know, Yamato, a very important player to watch, because, like I said, last year Asia and Southeast Asia were separate shards, came together for the regional qualifiers only, and Yamato was the only player from the Asia shard to make it through to the top 16. What's more than that is that previously the Asia shard was only Japan and South Korea, and Yamato is Japanese. I was pretty sure that South Korea was one of the strongest regions that Legends of Runeterra had, with some absolutely dominant players like JO1, DK, UCG, Boom Timo, favorites that I thought going into the World Championship might be able to take it all the way. So last year we had no South Korea representatives. This year, I'm hopeful that we'll get a few in there, because it would really suck if we just had, you know, 2 years of Worlds and no South Korea representation, but we'll kind of see how it goes. Of those 10 players requalified, I think the one to watch absolutely hands down is Pinpingho. He has been on a tear this season. If we actually scroll down to how they all qualified, actually, funny enough, none of the returning players qualified through seasonal points. All of them came through either a top cut or the ranked ladder, with Pinpingho winning the Curious Journey seasonal and then getting runner-up at the World Walker seasonal, getting as close as we've ever had to a 3-time champion, because Pinpingho, you know, did win a seasonal in 2021 to qualify initially. So he kind of inted his lineup last year, arguably, brought, I believe it was triple aggro into a field that was a lot of, like, Sparklefly Nami, Draven Scion, Tri-Beam Control, and aggro was not particularly well positioned for that. Pinpingho failing to make it to the top 8, did make it to the top 16, so as long as he can sort of get his lineup situated this time around, Pinpingho is absolutely one of my favorites to go through to the top 16 again from our returning players. Now, of the Americas players, the one that I'm sure a lot of you are all interested in, I'd absolutely love to see a competition between Majin Bay and What Am I, which, not totally out of the question. The way that the things are seeded is seasonal tournament finalists is the highest seed, seasonal tournament points are the second highest seed, and ranked ladder points are the lowest seed, meaning that the ranked ladder points players will have to go against seasonal finalists. Now, What Am I did qualify through the ranked ladder, but he's pretty high up on the ranked ladder, so the chances of him actually going up against a seasonal finalist in the early rounds, not very high, and I'm not really sure how the bracket works out to figure out where in the bracket he might end up running into Majin Bay, but that is definitely from a broadcast perspective, that is the matchup for the Americas that I am looking out for the absolute most. two titans of industry coming back and swinging. And as you know, sort of beyond that, there's really not a whole lot to go over. You know, I can show you these. I can link this article down in the description below so that you can kind of comb through it yourself. There are a lot of notable players that did not make it through to the World Championship, but sort of just going over those, it seems like a kind of a feels bad moment. So I just did kind of want to highlight some of the cooler notes and stuff. And yeah, looking forward to putting together this broadcast stuff for you guys, and you know, getting the games on camera, and then they'll probably be on this YouTube channel after the fact, as Twitch archiving. You know, I like to get stuff up on YouTube as well, because I feel like YouTube has a little bit more longevity to it than Twitch VODs. So you can absolutely expect all of those VODs to be up on this channel a couple of days after the qualifiers finish. And again, I will have more information on my Twitter, which is @casterboulevard, next week in regards to the broadcast schedule for these events. In the meantime, that's really all I wanted to give, just kind of a quick little update since the information was released. As far as other notable America's competitors, obviously, like we can see here, P-Tash and Cup is Mine both having that little asterisk next to their name, meaning that they are repeat top cutters. P-Tash is someone I've been talking up a lot, especially alongside Floppy Mudkip. Cup is Mine. You know, called me out a little bit for not putting him on any of the top 10 players to watch articles, but coming into the World Championship, I will probably have another top 10 players to watch, and Cup's made a pretty solid argument to get onto that list. So don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, because when you mention subscribing, people do it, weirdly enough, and that is the whole point that I'm making all these videos, so that you can sub and I can get to the LPP ideally. But you don't want to miss any of the World Championship action, so go ahead and subscribe now. You'll get a little bit ahead of the curve. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'll keep you updated with more content regarding the World Championship as it comes. It's probably just going to be normal gameplay footage from about here until the patch, but once the patch comes, we are whole hog. Anyway, that is all for me today.